Hello, welcome to a video today that may have collective reading elements involved. This is also an unboxing from one of the new decks from Steph from House of Scry, and I was so excited to unpack it. I thought, oh, I don't know if I've seen people doing reviews of her decks. Well, not really a review, but more of a, it arrived in the mail, let's look at it. So I did want to show, because she had these like really cool little cards, Inkblot Oracle Fortune Teller, that say I see, I sense, I feel, and then they have different ink blots. So one thing that's just very cool about her work is everything is completely, I want to say new and innovative at the same time, but what came through, so I'm like, okay, it will be a little channeling, is how old it is. Anyway, so what if I put this up here so I still see it? And then each deck, I believe, or some of the decks came with these like velvet cloth bags, drawstring, and this guy reminded me of is it like the Green Martian from those Acme cartoons with the little eyes? And then also here with this being on the right to me looking at it, but for this creature on the left, something of the heart standing out. So it, yeah, as I hear something outside my door. So something of heart protection, integration, interaction. Yeah, as I'm feeling the wind push up on the door to that. Okay. Oh my goodness, a deck! And, ooh, whoa, these are soft. Oh, these are buttery. Okay, it's dangerous. That's nice to hold on to. I had originally, oh my goodness, you can smell the ink, which perhaps sounds obvious where it's a printed item, but it's almost like when you smell clay and it's a little ocean-y, a little earth-y, a little natural funk-y, and almost licorice. And other people might not be interested in the scent of things. I'm one of the people who got COVID in 2020, and my long COVID also started that year, so I have so few scents of the 5 that we speak and agree on. I have so few or so little left of smell and taste that when I can actually smell something, I don't care if it's a food, but if there's a scent that I can pick up on, I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And then I get really excited. So, okay, we're just gonna go in. So it's I Scry Scrolls, the Old Soul Oracle, Astrology and Auras edition. And I was really wondering which deck to get, because I had been looking at the pocket one, and that was like the small one, and it was, I believe, zoom-ins of other ink blots that she's done. And in one of the events that she had with Scythe at, I think it was like a new moon or full moon sometime in April, I think, somewhere around end of winter into spring, there was a event on Zoom, and there she shared ink blot that I had screenshot, and I had zoomed in on it in different areas, one for my lock screen, one for my home screen. And yeah, as my throat is getting like not wanting to talk on that, interesting. There was so much inside of what is so little. And that's why with her having these, and I won't like, turn it over and have my government name on this, but it's so cool. Like, at first I see leaves of some kind, and I see tendons, and I also see a suit and see these eyes peeking in through the throat of the suit. And all of it coming in with these watery feet, with the fluid movement. And the fork in the road through the leg is that every choice is a decision. So, something about choice and decision, and every step along the way there being a choice at it. I feel that there's a more beautiful arrangement of those words and messages. Okay, yay. So I don't want to just go through the deck. I want to actually do a reading with these guys. Because I believe they're, wow, these feel nice. Holy. I want to do, yeah, you can really smell the ink off of it. That's awesome. And some people, you know, might be like, oh, it smells of ink. And I'm like, yes, I can tell that she made these, you know? So for the Empath's Oracle deck, it's around this size. But what in me wants to connect these? Knowing presence with 13, transforming empathic absorptions. Okay, we have our first little duo. I am seeing this here almost as hands covering the face, and then the mouth just open crying, honestly. And then here, this reminds me of what doctors have when they're checking your heartbeat and then bringing the hands in. So what had originally been covering a wound or an insecurity, something that caused pain or harm or distress or crisis, from a different perspective is actually the root for the healing for this. I'm seeing this now as a beard, this very old pain. And I'm picking up on this little red piece coming through and how it's covered with a sleeve, almost a layer of fabric, a tear in time. A tear in time. Transforming empathic absorptions. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Oh no, this is gonna be fun because there's upside downs. Okay. I'm gonna cut a new bottom, which is Capricorn, the Devil, Goat, Saturn, Earth. Okay. So grounding inside this earth energy, something tangible, something held, something inside your life. This is not an idea taking flight. This is not a new inspired action of some kind. This is an illusion. But specifically with Capricorn, with the Devil, that's so interesting to have those together. And I haven't looked up the QR code. I think there's more instructions. And I don't know if it's a video or if it's text or whatever it may be. But this is going to be a deck that moves for a long time. Here we have Hangman and Stretch with Skinwalker Shift. Whoa. I'm getting this as skeletal. This feels, with these little tiny claws up here, I am still, man, they're buttery smooth. Holy crap. I am still getting hands over the eyes, a covering, but here it looks more like a chest. And here I see these giant hip bones, this pelvis coming down, and then the multiple legs, again, going back to the decision choice point, crossage. I'm seeing these two as speaking to each other. And so I am getting that this wound, this old wound we'd had here, there being healing coming through a beard. With it being the hips and pelvis, I'm getting this as a wound passed down through the matriarchal line. Passed down from mother to child. And I am using language that is limited contextually within a binary gender system. I know it's more than that. I know that not everyone that gives birth identifies as a mother or a woman. And absolutely, there is always another way of existence. As my eyes are being brought to a shadow on the wall and how it's veering this way, and the shadow from the other day I had sat down, it was over here, which yes, the shadow is created based on response to a light source. And so tuning in with where your own energy is pouring from and puddling up. Something being held, absorbed through a motherly wound, a motherly entry of some kind. Now here, hangman stretch. Yeah, it is someone upside down with now their hands over their head from the back. My incense fell to that. Interesting. We have liminality and in between, and unknown plug-in. Whoa, okay, so definitely seeing a face here. This is reminding me of not even necessarily devil, but I'm getting like jackal, like the rabbit from Donnie Darko. I'm getting bones into teeth, which feels like one level closer to speaking the truth, but it had to get soured and darkened somewhere along the way to maintain its truth, moving through the process portal of communication. Liminality in between. And this I'm seeing as breath paused in the lungs. This deck is sick. I know that I've been saying for a while now that like I'm missing a deck, and there were a few that I've crossed. I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. And then I saw that Steph's were still available, so I said score. But I thought ordering these that it would be like, okay, it's fully abstract, and then I know that there are layers of abstraction inside this, but it's more clear than I was expecting. It's interesting. I thought it would take longer to see things come through, because I find, yeah, okay, interesting. We have crown giving and royalty receive. Here, something just feels like a like a cheeky, snarly, getting away with it. Not necessarily jester energy, but I am getting an old wise one. Wow, these feel really nice. I don't even know how to, like, they're bendier. And I just know they're gonna wear down really pretty. Okay. Looking here at what seems to be a vessel of some kind. Giving, yes, with something being held, but I'm seeing this is almost the younger version of this. Do you see how they could be siblings or before afters? Or like this, yeah, this is the little brother version to this, all grown up. And this is like the teenage version that listens to metal in the garage. And this is the one trying to bang down the door and hang out with the older kids. So there's the beginning of a new crown. something being donned. And I meant that as in like you don a hat, you wear something, but also getting dawn as in a new sunrise, a new cycle rotation with solar energy. Okay, where does this want to go? We'll do a little tarot. New on the cut, we have the Queen of Swords right on. So there's a clarity through. And when I was, thank you, getting set up, I turned the key around, and if you've been watching my videos, you know there is often keys in one form, where, place, or another. Who is this? You just two? It it would be Death and the Devil that come out with the Six of Pentacles, which I'll get to this. This feels like a different, its own. But this here, the face reappearing, even though the devil is all the way over here. So we have the devils side by side. Virgo Hermit. Okay. Now the Six of Pentacles is going on this Skinwalker shift. I'm seeing here it's hands down and here it's hands up. So there's a oppositional, but it's not like it's in opposition to, it's not a fighting and, but there's a magnetic draw. We have the Ten of Cups. Also realizing how nice these decks look together. Noticing how I'd had them lined up, and this has brought the separation. Although it was the double devil that brought that separation. Okay. So this Ten of Cups is clarified by the Page of Wands. And then one from here. I'll be nice and do it upside down. Left-handed, interesting. Oh, it is the bottom. Okay. Sagittarius, Temperance, number 9. Archer, Jupiter, Fire. I'm seeing here as the eyes and antenna, almost the face of like a really tired Furby. And I'm seeing frontal vertebrae. It's not coming through as ribs, it's frontal vertebrae. And this staff being held here. And I don't know how close I could show all this on camera. I'm looking along the staff. You can see there's like this little bunch that's on bottom, and it goes on top just a little bit, and it's mirrored over on this side. Okay, that right there. I understand that she does this on one side, and then she presses the scroll down, and then when she unfolds, she has the full image, right? There's something here, something in me, the reader, is trying so hard to find the mirrored perfection. And that's a tension point, because something can be entirely mirrored, but that does not mean it is a equal, comprehensive, I saw you flick there. Something can be mirrored and still be incomplete. Something can be mirrored and that does not equate identical. And I think that's something that a lot of us are looking for, is for the cosmos, the earth to open up and then have a aha, like everything makes sense all at the same time as I hear a plane outside very loudly. My bookshelf rattles a little. There's not normally planes on where I am in town, so that's interesting. We have Jupiter, Fire, and Archer. I'm getting the, whoa, as I just was seeing circles. Black circles with this like teal, green, mint, golden layers along. Kind of like if you were to picture in sacred geometry the seed of life and how it's a circle, and then you have that actual design. I'm like totally blanking on what it is. But sometimes you'll have something that's, say, like black marble, and then there's a golden sketch. There's something else upon it with a fine comb, with a fine point. And so there's something that you're looking at so closely, trying to figure out the magic of it all, trying to understand how everything works, that you're missing the entirety. And this being Temperance coming through with this message, as I just felt that on my left wrist, something about that, a quick touch was like, whoa, way more sensitive. We'd started on that bottom cut with the Queen of Swords. Yeah. Grounding wind. Bringing the sky to earth. Well, bringing the sky to earth. I'm getting red. Looking at that blue there. Whoa. One more wants to join. Thank you. Yeah, they really move very differently to other decks. Okay. On bottom is 2, Taurus, the Hierophant, Bull, Venus, Earth. But I'm not going to go at that through the bottom. This is the first. I feel we have these 4 pour together. We have number 4, Cancer, the Chariot, Crab, Moon, Water. I'm seeing here this crab and these tendrils almost as it protecting its land. And protecting its land, calling it land is a very human term, and I think a lot of that is also tied to the crown, speaking in a Canadian context, but looking at powers that colonize, powers that be, and how there is a very firm, this land is my land, it's not your land. And this here, I don't get the sense that it's saying you cannot enter this ocean, you are not a part of this ocean, but it is, if you're gonna step into my world, watch your feet, watch your toes, as my voice kind of changed to that. Interesting. So it is stepping into another environment, ecosystem. I know, well, I'm making a sweeping assumption that her cards, when you originally get them, are organized by color. We have all this orange coming out. These don't have names on them. Oh my goodness. How fun. Okay, it's just what you get, you get. I mean, the color, yes, I am automatically getting fall and pumpkin. Something here of this kind of looks like a TV, or the outline of where a TV had been, and what is replacing the input of these screens in your life. Whether it moved from television to then your phone, or you switched to computer or like tablets and Kindles and iPads. There's something of what screen is now your normal screen. Because growing up, we had TVs, and then at a certain point, most everyone had a computer, but there was a before, right? And like, I didn't get my own computer until after high school. And now, and none of those times was having a smartphone. I didn't get a smartphone till I was into my 20s, and a few years in, I think. And immediately in this sense, AI was coming through, not sure what that was, but I look here and how I had just been talking about the littlest pieces looking a bit different. I'm seeing here, there's the outline, there's the negative space, and here it is filled in by the ink. So something filling a spot. And I am getting this also as like legs, pelvis, and this is a bit of spine, and this is a breaking open. But again, it's this orange sacral chakra energy that is normally down here coming up through the chest. And I'm getting that back to the very beginning of that heart protection. Because what is pouring out of you is based also on what you put inside. I think of if you were like drinking really heavily of booze one day and you go for a run the next day, your sweat and your body odor is going to smell like liquor. It's going to smell like booze. If you eat a bunch of garlic, or I'm sure like durian, it's going to come out through other modalities of your body. Here I'm getting I'm getting a watch post. I'm also getting a clock. I'm getting a timer, a countdown of some kind, a sand timer. I'm seeing here these fires up here and how it's brighter on one side. And that tells me that there is a wind current coming through from a certain direction that is influencing an implosion. And see how here there is equal, and there is, if you want to call it like correlation, causation. I see, yes, there is this green line, therefore there is a green line down here. But this connects most all the way down. Maybe there's a tiny gap. This has a gap here. These whites aren't exactly the same color. Like this feels, as I just got a whiff again of the ink, this feels like more active, mobilized, and not active just in concept, but like busy, something going on. And then here it feels like let's go vacuum for a second, but I'm getting this almost as the top of a watchtower, and then all of the power being released, sent forward. I'm sure that there has been like some finale of Stranger Things when they're on the top of a building with a tower and then you're waiting for something big to happen. Something like that. And how lonely or empowering, but either way, independent driven, as I just saw a bit of fire reach into the sky. It needs to be an active choice. No one's going to force your way up onto this neck of the woods, this stage of the path. You need to make the choice to be there. You need to choose to heal yourself from the inside out. And perhaps this is what you're working on now. And it does require you going deep, so deep inside that you're going up and you don't even realize it. You just feel like you're walking into the distance forever. And then suddenly you reach a place. But you don't recognize the hierarchical nature to this structure. And just because we don't recognize or don't witness something does not mean it's not there. So what is here that you don't see? Collaboration, connection, community. Seeing this blue and yellow, which is reminding me of blueberry pie, which it wasn't at first. Notice, normally when you have blue and yellow, you have green. But how very separate they are. The only crossover is through black. But you would think, right? Like in kindergarten, they tell you your again, the layers of seeing inside reality that we have, reminded of how dogs can see more or less colors than we can, and they can hear higher pitches and other vibrations. And just because we as humans can't witness it or capture it doesn't mean it's not there. I have this at the end of my description, but a dark room does not equate to empty. But there being no green also tells me that you need to be the one bringing life into the situation. And that's coming through with the blue. It's not coming through even in more green. It starts with back to the water. And here seeing it's the same shade blue down here around their throat. So it starts with you, inside you. Who's this? Temperance. Back down here to where we were for a long time. And I'm seeing this circle here as this pouring energy from the cup. And this is reminding me of a card from Soul Cards. Now, of course, when you go to a deck looking for a card, it's kind of like going to God and asking for one very specific wish. But it's one that's like almost like a terracotta vessel. And there's that blue forming through. Not that one, but that one wanted to come say hello. There's a third one in here. Thank you. We got some green. Okay, this here is my card for learning your cosmic lessons, talents, new ways of expression. In order, we have this speaking spirit, which I feel is something that is able to be unlocked through practice. Also with where that key is, getting that's not exactly, but it's connecting in with third eye. And I feel like third eye is one of the chakras that I have the most difficult time pinning down a definition to, or like a quickly, I know exactly what that is. I feel like it's foresight, being able to like visualize in your mind's eye what you want before you go out and get it, and that can help with manifestation. And like, I could be speaking out of my ass, I could be totally wrong here. It's interesting throughout, and like I'm in my 30s now, throughout my 20s, the handful of times that I went to a psychic, because I was very closed-lipped about anything, every single time I went to a psychic, they always said my third eye was blocked. Every single time. And they were like, you need to clear that. And then, so I don't know if I've ever shared that specific part. I don't think it's something that's terribly unique to me, but perhaps this is coming through because you are also someone who is dealing with a blockage in your third eye. And there's something here, and normally I see this similar to a yin-yang situation, and here I'm seeing how they just missed each other. It was almost in sync, and now they're going to be like ships crossing in the night, star-crossed lovers. Something being missed the first time around. We have this, I don't know how to show this card, this man, woman, him with the beard here, brings us back to this knowing. There is a split. And I'm getting, this is also very similar to these colors in the beginning. Yeah, even with the purpley, almost bruised bit. What was bruised inside the chest is now able to be witnessed from inside as outer. There's something here, something with this Page of Wands exalting, holding up this 10 of Cups. And I'm also hearing no at the top, so, okay. Chariot and 7 of Wands. Which, I feel like we had the Chariot, yes, down here. And what I'm getting, can you even see these cards? Kind of, yeah. What I'm getting with Chariot and 7 of Wands is it is time for more than just speaking your truth. It is time to come out of the closet is a phrasing of it. And even if that's only to yourself, it's nothing of what is coming through in this message is like a rush, a quickened pace for you to get started with something protruding through in your life. Yeah, 1, 2. Clarifying how this won't green. We have the 5 of Pentacles and then the Knight of Swords. It's not forming a green because you won't let it breathe. It just keeps cycling over and over and over and over. You see conflict, you get pulled into it, and then you're triggered into a reactionary state, and then you're defending, and then you're going on to the offense. And you're totally missing this split of everything that has been building up inside of you, that has been putting constructions in place that are fiery as spirit. I feel like, yeah, we have fire here, we have water here, and here is this temperance water that at any moment can douse and blanket what it is you have been working towards. And as I'm just like, man, these cards are freaking buttery, I'm getting you sharing the message of, but it feels so good. Like I feel like I'm on the right track, or everything is finally settling down and I don't want to just uproot everything. I don't want to undo all of that work that I've been so desperately almost trying to weave together. And that's part of this message speaking through, is it's not meant to be an uphill battle both ways in a snowstorm, but here there is a feminine and male energy trying to split, trying to unmerge while still continuing separate as one. And there's a time of getting moving. 43, letting go. We get this card a lot on this channel. So what is for you to release? And by release, it is not just letting go, but burdens. What burdens do you need to release? But I'm getting in the word to as in to do again, a repeat. But having a new lease on life, something perhaps being like a signed contract that comes into play, which is then how you are able to sprout through such a different understanding. I'm going to quickly read that. 43. I think 44 might be the last card in the deck. Yeah. So we're near the end of a cycle. Letting go of a person or situation can be a challenge. At times, what's at stake is not just the relationship or situation, it's the attachment we had for it, the hopes, the dreams, the expectations. Many relationships end long past their natural ending point. One or both people hung on, hoping things would change. They invested so much time because without that person or job or relationship, their future loomed up as one big blank screen. For many, this is too scary to bear. And I am getting this as a connection to that third eye blockage, to not being able to see what it is you want your life to look like. However, by letting go, we create a space for a person or a situation that will resonate with us where we are now. And that's an important part too. Whatever it is that you are aligning with is going to come find you, right? And so this is why it's important to be mindful of your vibration. And if you're being a big Debbie Downer and you're like, nothing ever works out for me, I never get any opportunities, my finances never improve, my relationships never improve, my job sucks, and everything is very negative framed, you're going to continue to live through that frame. Whereas all of those things can be the exact same, and the job that you can't stand can be, I'm so grateful I have a reliable income that supports me as I find something that's more fulfilling to my calling on earth. Or I'm grateful that I have a steady income so I can support for my family while I figure out what my next steps are. I'm so grateful to have a roof over my head and to be able to sleep at night knowing that we are safe and protected. And really finding ways to genuinely be grateful for what it is that you have while still aiming towards what it is you would like to have, and finding ways that you already have that in one form or another. Like if you're wanting to feel secure and safe, and for you that comes with finances and a better home life, and could be better people, could be a better housing situation, whatever it may be, what are ways that you can already be verbalizing the safety and protection you have in your life? I'm so grateful for my reliable vehicle that gets me safely to and from work every day. I'm so grateful I can drive around my family and my loved ones in this vehicle and know that we are protected and we are safe. I'm so grateful that I can go for a walk down a street in my neighborhood and not feel panic when someone passes by. Like there's so many ways that you can look at your life and see that you already have pieces of what it is you want, need, desire, crave. Whew. Start looking at your expectations. Try not to have any. This will enable you to live in the moment and be mindful in the present. To be able to gracefully release from a situation is a lesson for all of us. I think I'm just going to leave this here. And I will say, what I didn't say in the beginning is that all of this is symbol and story. And at the end of every day, it is for you to stay tuned.